These are my top 10 tips for things to do in Escape from Tarkov right after a wipe. And whether you're a new player or you've been here for a while, or whether you love the wipe or hate the wipes, these things, in my opinion, can really help you kind of start off on the right foot, which is a huge way to kind of get into the groove of a wipe. I'm Jessekazam, and if you don't know, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey, but with all this stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So tip number one is do the quests. Now, a lot of people are always asking me what's the best way to level up, what's the best way to make money, what's the best way to get loot, and a lot of times questing is the best way to do all of these things because quests give you great experience, which is going to help you level up, which is going to help you level up your traders and get better gear. Quests oftentimes give you pretty decent quest rewards, especially once you get past the first few. They actually start giving you, Bitcoin, cases. There's a lot of stuff to earn just by doing the quests alone. And they give you money. And a lot of times, once you get even just past the first initial ones, they actually start giving you decent chunks of change. They have reworked the quests and the quest rewards, and the way they made it sound was they made it better. So even more of a reason to be doing your quest early wipe. But this is really going to help you get off on the right foot. Don't worry too much about everybody doing the same quests as you, because even just 24, 48 hours into a wipe, people really start spreading out. Once you get through the first 2 or 3 quests, it starts to open up where you have quests available on several different maps, and players start to spread out a little bit. So tip number one is do the quests. Tip number 2 is loot everything, and I mean everything. You would really be surprised at how many things have value. Between the hideout and all of the items you need for that, between all the quests, almost everything that you can find, you either need for the hideout, need for a quest, can be bartered for something, or has some sort of value to be sold to a trader or on the flea market. Looting absolutely everything is a great way to make money, and it's a great way to set yourself up for quest progression later. If you've got a smaller stash, like a standard edition stash, and you can't just store, tons and tons and tons of things, selling those items has a ton of value even outside of just getting the money. You can sell it on the flea market once you get level 10. It's really a good idea to be looting everything. Coming out with a bag full of stuff is way better than coming out with nothing, or risking your life for maybe the potential for a higher value item, and then you might die and not only have made no money, but now you have to rebuy a kit. So tip number 2 is loot everything. Tip number 3 is learn the caches, the little Jaeger caches, stashes, whatever people call them. They are a huge way to get loot, guns, armor, ammo, everything in Escape from Tarkov. There are tons of them. Mapgenie.io is one of my favorite places to look at Tarkov maps. They are all over the Tarkov universe, all the Tarkov maps, and you can find crazy things. People are all the time telling me they're pulling slicks out of there. You can find vectors, new stuff, great ammo, rigs, armors. There is just about everything. Their loot pool is huge, and it's a great way. You can actually create routes where you just, depending on where you spawn, you just go to the other side of the map, hitting caches, trying to avoid PvP, and that's a great way to make money and loot some valuable stuff. Tip number 4, while we're still talking about looting, is loot all of the food and water that you come by. I have found, especially in this wipe, even just in the first few days, that my hydration and energy are getting smashed down much faster. And I'm going to do some testing on if that's when you take damage, or if they just ramped up all the values, or if it's because my skills reset or whatever. But I'm noticing almost every single raid that I survive coming out close to 0 hydration. And that can be huge. That can be really frustrating to forget. Go into a raid, get dehydrated, and now you feel like you have to just get out and reset the raid. So loot all the food and water that you can. This is going to be huge. Eating as much of it that you can, eating and drinking as much of it as you can in raid is going to help your metabolism skill, which I think you need for a quest later. So food and water, definitely be looking out for that. Now, tip number 5 is sell stuff. Now, obviously, right? Because we're all trying to make money out here in Tarkov in the first few days. But selling stuff not just on the flea market. So we have to remember that in order to level up these traders, there's a certain amount that has to be bought or sold to each of those traders. And once you get up to level like 14, 15, and you start unlocking the ability to get like Prop War level 2, Ragman level 2, Skier level 2, you really want to be able to get those things, because the jump from level 1 to 2 traders really opens up a lot for you. And if you've been either A, selling everything on the flea market, or B, hoarding everything, or C, not looting because you don't have enough room in your stash, then you're going to have a huge amount of money that you have to buy and sell between them. You can do the whole like buy an item, sell it right back, but you lose almost 50% of the value at that point. So stuff that you don't need, just sell it. Take stuff that you don't need out of a raid so you can sell it, and kind of keep an eye on that and all those traders. And once you've sold enough that you need from one person, move to the next trader and try and sell more to them. It's not always about just getting the most value for your item, but also actually trying to get those traders leveled up. So sell everything. Tip number 6 is slow down. I've seen a lot of people, including myself, after 7 months of a wipe, playing the raids really, really quickly. So playing like it's late wipe, rushing down shots, playing for PvP, or even just moving from one side of the map to the other really quickly. Once again, if you're just booking it from one side of the map, you're going to miss a ton of loot, spawns. The early wipe really shakes up the way the game plays and feels. So slowing yourself down, moving a little bit more methodically, picking your path, picking, okay, do I want PvP? Do I not want PvP? Where's my quest item? What's the best route to get there? When do I want to arrive there? I don't want to get to dorms early raid because there might be other people. Slowing yourself down is going to be a huge advantage. And not just moving slowly, but slowing your thought process down, really deciding where you want to be, when you want to be there, why you want to be there, and just kind of executing that plan for your raid. It helps the game feel a little bit more immersive, and it's going to increase your survival rate. Now, that being said, tip number 7 is choose your fights. This is more important than ever in the early wipe. Choose your fights. You can get caught with an item that you really need, something that you need found in raid, something that you can't fit in your secure container, and risking all of that for a PvP fight that you don't need to take when you don't know if they have anything good. He could just have a pistol and get a really clean one tap on you in your face, and now you've all lost all that, and then he wins. Or he could way outgear you, and if you push into dorms or push in somewhere, he's just going to tank your shots and then lay you out. So picking your fights wisely. There's absolutely nothing wrong with rolling up, hearing shots, and then completely disengaging. I've been playing a lot with a duo, and we are constantly communicating about, do we want to chase this guy down? Do we want to back off? This guy aggressed us, but we can get out by going this way. Should we flank him, or should we just roll out? Picking your fights wisely is going to be a huge thing that helps you survive more raids as well. And then tip number 8, when we're still talking about combat, is pick your shots. We don't have these laser beam guns anymore. It's not late wipe where we've got meta HKs and meta M4s. And we know that they've completely redone the attachments, and we don't even know if we're ever going to get those laser guns back. So picking your shots is actually a huge benefit. Everything has got more recoil. We're shooting guns that kick a lot, or we're using pistols or bolties or shotguns, and taking the extra time to aim for the head, aim for the face, slowing down your shots a little bit and being accurate can oftentimes win you the fight. If you peek around a corner and you're kind of like trying to strafe and mag dump, a lot of times it's really hard to control because of the vertical and horizontal recoil. It's hard to pull that like target into your crosshair and get that kill. Whereas if he has a pistol, or if he's even got an AK, but he's taking his shots wisely, tap, 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 he can get a head tap on you, lay you out really quickly. Or since none of us really have amazing armor, even a few shots to the chest, and you're going to be thinking, I have to run away because I've got a heavy bleed and only 3 health in my thorax or something. So slowing down, choose your fights, pick your shots. Tip number 9 is scav as often as possible. Now, this is a little bit back and forth. Some people who have been playing a lot longer that are really proficient just want to be on their PMC. Their survival rate is really, really good, and they don't want to be wasting time. Anything they can find on a scav, they can find on their PMC, put it in their secure container, and not have to worry about it as much. But if you're newer to the game, or you're not quite as confident in the early wipe, scavving is huge, not only because you're not risking anything, but because the reward is there huge. A lot of times you'd actually be really surprised at how much loot people leave behind. So if you spawn in on a map late and you just loot a little bit, loot for simple things, filing cabinets for gas analyzers and stuff like that, you can a lot of times find it, and you can actually just spawn in with really good stuff. I spawned in with a Kiba key, with some reserve keys. I got one of my flash drives that way, labs key cards. A lot of times you can just scav in, run straight to the extract, make sure that you don't get a run through if what you need is found in raid, and you've got a gear set and potentially some valuable items. So scavving can be a great boost to your little personal economy, and a great way to maybe risk it, go for a PvP kill or something like that. But if you're not super proficient with your PMC, I would say scavving as often as possible, even if you're just burning them on factory, is a pretty good idea. And then the last tip number 10, is don't compare yourself to others. Now, this is a little bit more, I don't know, existential maybe, but I know a lot of people, maybe they like to watch streamers or something, and they see, you know, we're 48 hours in the wipe and there's already people that are level 40 and they feel behind, or people are already doing this quest, and there's a little bit of that FOMO in there, and that's understandable. I mean, even I get that with my friends who are further along than in the quests, but at the end of the day, that will oftentimes push you to play worse because you're trying to rush something down. You're trying to get an item. You get frustrated. You can't find a flash drive or your gas analyzer. Rushing that down and like focusing and tilting too hard into one thing can be a really bad idea, because you can spend that time going another map. If you're going in and slowly, steadily looking for a gas analyzer and you're pulling out all sorts of loot and all sorts of stuff, you're either going to be making money or finding items that you need for later quests anyway, and just kind of let that run its course. So don't compare yourself to others, to streamers, to whatever. Just play the game, have fun, enjoy it, slow it down a little bit, and you'll oftentimes find that you're gonna find that item you need or whatever, and then it's gonna speed up a lot because now you've got all these other items that other people maybe don't have. So it ends up balancing itself out. But those are my top 10 tips to do after a wipe in Escape from Tarkov. This is a really exciting time. I know some people don't like the wipes, but we're here. It's happened whether you like it or not, and learning how to kind of be the most proficient that you can be, whether you're trying to quest, PvP, just make some money, can be a huge help. So I hope that something on here is something you haven't heard before, or something that can help you be a little bit more confident. And I hope that your survival rate goes up and you start making a ton more money in Escape from Tarkov. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you like the video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below with your tips for other people in the early wipe, and think about subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Like we said before, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. My links will be down below. If you're looking to link up with some other people, the Discord link is down below. We've got a few thousand people in there. It's an awesome place to be. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.